Hi everyone and welcome to Club2 Episode 18 of Rolling in the Isles, an FM22 British Isles Journeyman series with me, the United City FM. Welcome along. So, we've reached the end of our season with Ballina in the Championship of Northern Irish Football, and we've been top of the table for a little while. We've got one more game to play. Have we already won the championship? Let's find out. So the simple answer to have we won the title is yes. Yes, we have. Ballina, top of the table, one game to go. We've got a 7-point gap between us and Armagh in second place, and we have secured the championship in Northern Irish football and will get promoted this season. Now, we did make it slightly tricky for ourselves. It must be said, the last episode you and I were together was this match here, the 3-1 loss to Ards. We then lost 3-1 to Armagh as well, who finished in second place. And at that point, I thought, we're on a little bit of a sticky wicket here. A third loss in a row to Carrick, and you could see that the pressure of winning this championship really got to the players. But we sorted it out, changed the approach in terms of more positive for the team talk. We had a team meeting as well, which actually worked. Surprise, surprise. And we beat Ards 3-1 in the very last match that I played, and that won us the championship. Fortunately for us, both Armagh and Ards didn't quite manage to do enough to turn that title gap around, and we managed to hold on to it, basically. Today we played Dundela at home to be able to parade the trophy and do all the good stuff. We've already picked up the trophy, unfortunately, in the last game against Ards, because that was also a home match, but a chance for a celebration fixture at Ballina for the last game of this season. So let's just check it out a little bit. 31 games played, 60 points. We got a goal difference of 10 in the end. It wasn't fantastic in terms of goal scoring. It was something all the way through the season that we struggled a little bit with. After 31 matches, you'd hope that you'd have a slightly better goal difference than that. You can see that Armagh in second place had a plus 15. I needed to have beaten that, really. But what we can see is we had the fourth best goal scoring record and the fourth best goals conceded. So because of that, you can see that other teams have been more consistent in one of those and less consistent in the other, potentially. So maybe Armagh scored a bunch, but possibly let a bunch in as well. And so I think it's an interesting thing that we've managed to win the title, having only placed fourth in goal scoring and goals conceded. But ultimately, it's about the points. And we got we got more than a couple of very closely fought wins along the way through the season. It's been an interesting couple of seasons at Ballina. We came in here having really failed at Limavady in our first season in Northern Ireland. Walked away from them, came in here, and actually, in a couple of seasons, we've done remarkably well to get promoted. And as I say, we've got one more game to play. So, fourth place Dundela, finish off the season for us. Can we finish on a high, having just got that goal, win against Ards, and finish the season with a real positive note? Let's find out. So we've done a good enough job this season of keeping our players pretty much fit and healthy. We've had one or two injury issues along the way, but for now, for the last game of the season, you can see we've got a fully fit squad pretty much. A couple of them are more match fit than others, but not too bad across the board, so we can pick and choose who we want. Now, before we do that, I just want to go back to the homepage just very briefly and talk about the personnel. BJ Banda, one of our strikers, was top goal scorer with 15. Aidan Black, highest average rating. A youngster at the back for a central defender. Got a bright future at this level, at least, ahead of him. So Aidan Black was a superstar for us when he came into the team. Aaron Burns, an ageing left-sided midfielder, can play centrally behind the striker and as a striker as well. So covers a couple of positions for us, but he got the most assists with 10. And then we've got Dean Curry, our left-back, best pass completion rate at 96%. Most player of the match awards goes to Banda with 5. We've got Mark McGee on the most yellow cards, a central midfielder, combative player. So you'd kind of expect that from him. 10 yellow cards. And we did not get a player sent off all season, which is pretty magnificent, really. No red cards at all. And the third best record for average attendance. So you can see that we're doing okay in terms of attracting the people through the turnstiles at this level of football. But of course, next season is going to be a completely different story, moving up a division. So that's the basic setup in terms of what we had from our main players this season, which is really fantastic. A lot of them performed pretty well. You can see in our first team that we've still got several that are over a 7 average rating for the season, which is pretty magnificent. Very happy with that. But you just like a little bit more consistency in front of goals from the strikers that we've got. The likes of Kelly came in and out of the side a little bit here and there. The same for McGlynn as well. Started the season as a number 1 choice goal scorer. Didn't really light the place up, so lost his place to Kelly in the end. We had Patrick Shearer that was on loan with us for a while. He went back because he wasn't performing particularly well, so I didn't play him as much. And now we've got this youngster, Mark Rainey, come into the squad. Doesn't look anything special now, but at 15 years old, at this level, I think this guy could do something here. So we're giving him a few opportunities here and there where we can, just to see if we can build him up a bit. But we've got one more game, as I say, Dundela, 4th place. It's a good team for us to finish off with, really. Having won the title, we can play without any pressure on us at all, which hasn't been the case for the last 3 matches. You saw those three losses in the last 4 matches, should I say. And the team did not cope very well with the pressure. So the pressure is now gone. We can go out and relax. And to do that, we're going to be using Hogg in goal, Smith at right back, Curry at left back, Black and Morrison in central defence, Grace and Holder in midfield, Crook on the right, Burns on the left, and Bander and Kelly up top, with a bench of Armstrong, Willis, McKee, McLaughlin and Rainey. So let's get into today's game and see what happens. So, because the situation we're in, I have actually gone with outstretched arms as a gesture and just told them, relax, play your natural game, the result will come, no pressure, no stresses, and let's see what we can do as a final opportunity this season to really show why we were worthy champions this year. I think we were. I think we've done pretty well. I think we've taken some points occasionally off some of the slightly bigger teams. We've been fairly consistent. We've had a few dips here and there, but not too many. And ultimately, I feel that we deserve to win the title because ultimately the league table doesn't really lie, does it? So it is a Dundela chance down the left-hand side for the first highlight of the game. Had he strayed offside? Probably not is the answer, but it just looked a little bit as though he'd managed to get a bit of an advantage on this back post. We'll have to check this out as the replay comes along. So they have it down the left-hand side. Let's watch the players in the middle. No, he wasn't at all. He came from quite deep in the end. He just ran past a couple of defenders that, again, were just not really paying attention. And that happens occasionally at the back for us. Defensively, I think we've been pretty solid for most of the season, but very occasionally, slightly more regularly than that maybe, they just switch off a little bit. And that's part of the level of football we're playing at, the lack of concentration and discipline and all that kind of stuff. And ultimately, they went to sleep there and Dundela take a 1-0 lead. Not particularly bothered ultimately what happens in this particular fixture because obviously the title has been won. But you kind of want to win the last game of the season once you've been crowned champions, don't you really? And we didn't do particularly great in that first half. You can see that we had a little bit less possession than they did. The XG ratings, they had nearly a 1. We were only about half of that. And you can see we outshot them, but we did not put as many on target. Only by 1, but these are the small margins that occasionally lose you games in Football Manager 2022. And at the moment, we are losing. So we can go in and just fairly calmly, we'll go hands together. Come on, lads, show a bit of desire. We don't want to dig them out too much. We are the champions after all, but we do want to go and win this match. So we'll demand more from them at the very early point of this second half and just see if we can get on the front foot at all. See if we can get ourselves into the game in this early part And that will absolutely do it. Burns with a brilliant free kick really made the goalkeeper scrabble across the goal. Either the goalkeeper palmed it out or the post got in the way. Let's see what happens here. It was the goalkeeper. Really good save, but all he can do is bat it down really straight in front of him in the 6-yard box. And it was Crook that responded better than the defenders on that occasion. And he's got a very simple tap-in for 1-1. And we are back in the game. Can we use that as momentum for this second half? We've had a few more shots at goal than they have in this second half, definitely. And our XG rating has skyrocketed because of that simple chance. We're still lacking a little bit of possession. That's okay as long as we can do something with what we've got. They had a very early injury, so they had to turn their side around a little bit. So it's all sort of falling into place that we might be able to nick something here. 15 minutes to go. You can actually see that all of my players are pretty healthy and good conditioning, so I don't have to worry about that. So we'll worry about performance levels today in terms of the average rating as to who we take out of the side. And there's 3 candidates there, really, that look like it to me. And it's Burns with a yellow card on a 6.6, so McLaughlin comes in. We've got Banda, pretty much the star of our show for most of the season, not doing it on the last day. So Rainey comes in for him. We'll go and use him in that particular spot on in the striking. Our young 15-year-old striker got a good future ahead. And then we've got a couple at the back that are on a 6.6-ish, but there's also Smith on a 6.3. He's been very good, and he is very young himself. He's only 17. He doesn't look anything to write home about, but he's played pretty well most of the season for us. But today, not doing it. So Terry Willis will come in and finish the game off. That's what we're going to change. We're not going to change the style of play particularly. We've got ourselves back in the game anyway. We're not losing at this point, so that's a benefit, a bonus, should I say. So we're just going to let the game play out, really. And hope that we can find another opportunity. Here's a chance off a corner kick, and we did have the chance. The header on at the near post to the back post, and there was a hooked shot, but it goes straight over the top of the bar. Rainey tries to feed it through to McLaughlin down the left-hand side, but it's intercepted. Dundela counter-attack on us very quickly. Duffy gets into the box momentarily, tries to cross it in, having been pushed wide, and then we win the ball back very nicely. Kelly on the ball. Rainey takes over and gets in the way a little bit. Just a little bit of inexperience from Rainey just there, unfortunately. Probably needed to let Kelly just carry on with his run. It became a little bit muddy, and unfortunately Rainey then gave the ball away. So not covering himself in glory at this particular moment, which is unfortunate. At the age of 15, you expect a little bit of that, but it has kind of led to a goal for the opposition, unfortunately. So that's a little bit disappointing. Ultimately, as I say, the result doesn't matter as much, but you kind of want a little bit of confidence coming out of the team from the end of the season, really. And that's just a little bit disappointing. At 1-1, should I say, it was a gamble to put one of the youngsters on like that in that sense. But as I say, it doesn't really matter, does it? But 2-1 down, you can see that we've outshot them. We've got another chance here from Crook on the free kick, and he puts it just over the top of the bar, unfortunately. So that's a goal kick to them. The percentage of possession has been a little bit of a problem. We have lacked that a little bit in today's game. We have outdone them in XG rating, the expected goals for the particular match. But ultimately, they did what we didn't do, and they put the ball in the back of the net a couple of times, and we only managed the once. And that is going to basically end our season on a little bit of a down note. It was unfortunate. Rainey came in, didn't look particularly strong on that occasion, did he? Crook was the star of our show on this particular match, supported by Holder in midfield. The rest of them didn't actually perform to standard, and I'm a little bit disappointed by that. I thought the freedom of having won the title and sorted all of that out might have done just enough to get a better performance out of the side. We shot well enough in terms of getting them away. We didn't really put enough on target. But there we go. That's going to do it. One last game has been played. It wasn't the result I was looking for. But ultimately, the bigger picture is still that we did win the championship. Now, the question is, and we'll talk about that in a second, what are we going to do next? Let's find out. So we do have to talk a little bit about what comes next. Now, we did win the championship in the end by 7 points. Ards overtook Armagh. Armagh lost on the last day of the season, and so a 7-point gap was what we won it by. And I'm really happy with that. as I say, the goal difference was a bit of a concern. We need to be working on that a little bit as we move forward. But the question is, do we move forward with Ballon and Mallard? The interesting thing about the setup here is, I think we've done above and beyond, to be honest, to get where we currently are. I think we were only due to finish in the mid-table area. If we go and have a look at the league table properly and then go to the season preview, it will say we were down in 7th in the pre-season preview. Very close to others, it must be said. You can always put us in 5th, basically. But it's not first, is it? Carrick really underperformed this season. So we were not due to get promoted at all, even by the playoffs. And to get automatic promotion is pretty spectacular. The question that leaves me with, though, is do I leave on a high? Is it going to be such a struggle going up with this particular team into a division above us with some much better teams in it, it must be said? And is that going to dent my reputation for a season or two while we struggle to figure that out, try and claw our way into staying in the division and then trying to move forward? Or do I cut my losses? This would be the second time that I move on, though. Limavady, after the first season that we were playing, was so dreadful. Couldn't get a tune out of them at all, that I resigned in the end and found something else to do here at Ballon and Mallard. Am I going to get a bad reputation if I resign again and go and find somewhere else? Should I just hold on and wait and apply for some jobs while still being in this job over the closed season and see if one of those offers me a position and then jump ship? Or do I stay at Ballon and Mallard? What do you think? What would you do in this particular situation? That's what I'm asking you to comment in the chat below, really. What would you do at this point? Would you... it is a journeyman. I am trying to get myself to the top of the game, not a club particularly. So would you change at this point? Is this a good moment? On a high, rather than struggling in the division above, do I now walk away? But as I say, the dilemma ultimately is I don't want to get a bad reputation for just walking away from clubs. So yeah, tell me what you think in the comments below. That would be really helpful to me. This is the last video that's coming out in 2021. I'm now going to go and have a week and a half break or so with my family and enjoy the festive season at Christmas for us. I'm going to be back, I think, on the 4th. I think it's the 4th, Tuesday the 4th. Whatever that first Tuesday of January is, that's the day I'll be coming back to content creation. That's the day that my wife goes back to work as well. So it just fits into our schedule better that way. So that's what we're going to do. So between now and then, I'm going to go and enjoy a family festive season, a lovely Christmas, I hope. And if you celebrate Christmas yourself, I hope you have a very lovely one too. Thank you so much for your support this year. I really do appreciate it. It's been a really interesting year on the channel. I think we've put out some decent content. Haven't probably got the eyes on it that I'd really love to have, but I'm more than happy with the community that I do have, and you are a big part of that. So thank you very much for that. I do appreciate you enormously. And I look forward to seeing you again in 2022 for some more fun. We've got a couple of new series starting fairly soon, probably in the first month or so of next year. So there'll be some new content on the channel, as well as a continuation of rolling in the R's as well. So look out for all of that. Until next year, though, have a really safe and happy Christmas. Do protect yourselves and everybody else around you. We still live in some pretty uncertain times, don't we? So be safe, be sensible, but have a really fantastic time. And I look forward to seeing you again in 2022. So thank you for joining me today. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and join my United City community. The more the merrier. Click that like button on this particular episode, and that'll help me get seen by more people. Remember to comment in the comments below about what you would do in my situation here. Until next time, take care of yourselves. I'll see you very soon. Bye for now.